Hi everyone, Heidi and Aaron here with our question of the week. These days it's not business as usual and we probably shouldn't act like it is. So today we're talking about how we should consider what you're saying to your customers and how you're saying it. So Aaron, how would you recommend businesses refine their marketing messages now in the midst of all of this pandemic chaos?
Well, number one, thank you for another easy question. I really appreciate that you lob up the easy to spike questions. But I mean, number one, businesses, big word, huge. I mean, it's too big. You got to kind of put it into, okay, what are the, for lack of a better word, the essential businesses that are still operating without any changes per se? And then what are everyone else? So when I think of the essential businesses, when I think of healthcare, I think of manufacturing, I think of the grocers, I really look at what they need to be doing, and that there's still a need for them to do something, believe it or not, even though they're obviously there. But the need is to, in manufacturing and groceries and probably healthcare, all across them, is to tell people still what's going on. I mean, if it's manufacturing, if they're doing things, to keep saying, we're doing it and we're doing well at it and we're growing through these challenging times. Because if you don't, even in an essential business, and you don't have a message out there digitally, now I think it leaves it open for people to assume by the other media they're taking in that it's not that way. And if you don't talk, and if you don't say, and you don't tell the story, I think there's a chance that people create their own story. And now more than ever, I think it's important that you continually tell your story. And for essential businesses that are still making it happen, number one, thank you, essential businesses, grocers, healthcare, manufacturing. It wouldn't be good if you weren't doing what you're doing. So thank you for doing what you're doing. But I think it's also a good opportunity for those businesses, grocery and healthcare especially, to talk about what they've done internally to protect their staff, to protect the people coming in. Because if you don't know all the steps they've done, which are a lot, over and above what they were already doing before, which was amazing, it's easy as a patient or a person coming in to not know the true story, because you hear a different one in the media, and it's like, tell their story, because the media might be telling a different story. And if your story is different, you got to tell yours. It's more important than ever before. And then I would say those businesses, and we have a client that was able to do this, but they're still growing, they're manufacturing, they're doing amazing things. And they reached out to the local restaurants in their community, and once a week they're buying lunches for their entire staff. And that might not seem big, but they have 170 employees. So once a week, 170 lunches from a local restaurant are going to this company. And I would think that that's a big deal right now. So that's huge. And then everybody else, all of us, what do we do? And it's like my dad, Walter W. Hautala, that's what my Aaron W. Hautala stands for, by the way. He told me, as I was heading off to college in my Ford Escort GT, which was white with a black spoiler, just in case you were wondering, he said, and I had no clue what he was saying, but he goes, Aaron, always remember to tell a good story. So I drove out of the driveway crying because I had no idea what I was going off to in life. I had no clue what that statement meant. I thought he was joking with me. I thought he was clueless as to what I was doing because I was going into graphic design. 20-some years later, the guy's brilliant. Tell a good story. And as a business right now, all of us all have to tell a good story. And if every story we put out, or if we put out no stories, people have to assume what they're being told, and that's nothing. So if it's nothing, how do they know what they can help you with, or how they can buy from you, or how any of that can work? And I think it's good to be authentic. It's like, don't pretend there is no pandemic. Don't pretend it's not impacting you. I mean, it's impacting us, right? Our company, right, Heidi? You're in, I don't know if I'm pointing the right way, but one of these, you're somewhere. You're not at the studio. You're at home. I'm at home. We're going through weird things, but you still want to show up, do your job, and portray a confidence that we can get through this. And to be honest, I mean, we're going through our own challenges, but in these sessions, even we show up dressed to succeed and help people understand that we can still help them. That's part of the communication plan. So the essential or the the other businesses, they still have to tell their story, and they have to focus on stories somehow that create optimism. Because if every story is kind of dismal, people have a natural tendency not to go after dismal stories. It's like professional sports teams. When they're doing really well, everybody comes to watch and they don't mind paying tons of money to see it. But if they're doing really bad, people don't want to be around it. And the best example I have of pivoting for a business is really the sports industry. So they got the rule, okay, no more sports. Okay, NBA, okay, hockey. That's kind of a big deal. So ESPN, they could have just gave up, actually, because what are you going to talk about? Nothing's happening. But they pivoted with the only thing they could was to talk about what they could, or to go back in the archives and play the 1991 World Series, or to show the Timberwolves from who knows when. By the way, did you know we had Kevin Garnett? I thought he was a Celtic. I mean, we had him first. This is amazing. I missed basketball during that era. I was doing something else. I don't know. But they pivoted. They came out with a message so that people still had a reason to watch it, so that their followers just didn't go, whoa. And every one of us has to pivot in a different way. It's not like you and I can just go back and show some photos from 20 years ago and it'll work. We have a different product. Same with everyone listening. We have a different product, but how do we take what we have, what's happening, and find a bridge? That's a very short answer to a very long question, or something like that.
I think it was a good answer.
Good. That's all I have for today this week. That's it.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. And remember, if you have a question, feel free to drop us a note.
Bye.